Let's build a spacious habitat for the majestic Wisents in the Elm Hill City Zoo. Wisents are heaviest European animals and they are very important for my country, so I just couldn't wait to build something for them. In this video, we'll also talk a bit more about the upcoming Planet Zoo DLC. I really hope you guys will enjoy the video. I just love how this habitat has turned out. Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. It is time for a new episode of the Elm Hill City Zoo, and this time we'll build a big habitat for a big animal, the Wisent. The Wisent, or the European bison, is one of the animals included in the recent Eurasia Animal Pack. Since Planet Zoo announced that the Wisent will be included in the game, I just knew that I had to add them to the Elm Hill City Zoo because they fit so well to our European zoo. Those bisons are really popular in zoos in Poland, in Germany, in Sweden, in Czech Republic, in Slovakia, and so on. I saw them in several zoos in my country, in Germany, also in Barcelona Zoo, I think. And I actually had a big area saved in the zoo for the American bison, but since the European one was added, I decided to change my plans and add the bison here because I think it makes more sense. The American bisons are not as popular here as the European ones, and this is sort of a no-brainer, right? We are in Europe, we are building an European zoo, so we are having an European bison in here. I don't know if I will still be adding the American one, I don't think so, but maybe if we'll have space somewhere, I'll try to squeeze it in. In this video, we'll also talk about the newest addition to Planet Zoo, the Barnyard Animal Pack that will be coming out very soon, and that sort of divided the whole community a bit, so I am very curious about your opinions. I am personally very excited about the new pack. I already have an idea for the entire petting zoo in the Elm Hill City Zoo, so yeah, I can officially confirm it that we'll build one because I saw so many questions about this, and yeah, I'll be adding the petting zoo in here for sure. I'll just have to organize the videos a bit so we will still have a chance to finish the reptile house soon and do the tour of the entire zoo. The Wisent, or the European bison, is an animal that is very important to my country. It is a sort of like a symbol of the Polish wildlife in here. Poland greatly contributed to saving the species from extinction. It was basically extinct in the wild. It was hunted down to extinction, and through some captive breeding that took place in Poland and in some other countries in Europe, we were able to bring this species back to the wild, and I am so proud of my country for doing this. This is the largest European animal. It is super majestic, it is super beautiful, and it is super large. It is still smaller than the American bison, but for Europe standards, it is a very large animal. Unfortunately, it doesn't live in the same part of the Poland as I live. They live more in the center and in the south of Poland, but still, it is so cool to see some news reports of people seeing them. Also, lately, they've become sort of like a problem because they started to destroy the crops because the numbers are increasing. This is both good and bad, but I am sure that we will be able to somehow control it. I hope so, because some of the farmers are getting a bit annoyed by them. But okay, enough talking about my country, let's talk about the video and about the habitat that we'll be building today. I don't know if you guys saw the shorts or the reel that I uploaded, I think in February or in the beginning of March, of my first visit to the zoo during the winter, and that I really recommended you to go and visit your zoo during the winter because the animals were really like out and about and there was no people, so I had the entire zoo to myself. But I visited the Warsaw Zoo, and this habitat is greatly inspired by the Warsaw Zoo enclosure for the European bisons. It is not a recreation or anything like that, I just took some parts of the habitat that I really liked, and I of course used the things that we already were using in this sort of area of the zoo to make it all cohesive. We are building this habitat behind the reptile house, next to the habitat for the wolverine, for the red deers, and also the wild boars, and when it will be done, this whole little area in here will be basically finished, and I am so excited for this. This habitat will also be a bit special because it will be visible from the street, from the pavement that we have like in front of our zoo. So people who are just passing the zoo, like going for a walk or something, can actually see the Wisents from the street, so they don't need to enter the zoo to see some of the animals. I really love when zoos do it. I saw a lot of zoos actually that do such stuff. I think it is a bit for marketing as well, because you know, you see those animals, you would like to see them more up close, so you are sort of thinking of going inside. I really wanted to have something like this, and yeah, this is the habitat that the guests will be able to see from the actual street. This street was created by Zoof or Zuvi, I never know how to pronounce the name. We had a guest builder here a long time ago who recreated the entrance area and did some streets in front of the zoo that I just love. In the future, but pretty long future, I'll be adding like some facades of the buildings and maybe a park in there, just to make it look like this is actually outside of the zoo, so we have like a city suburb or anything, and then it will look even better because there will be something in the background like next to the Wisent habitat. I really wanted to give those guys a spacious habitat. Those are large animals that require a lot of space, so the whole habitat is quite big, but it is maybe not as detailed as some of the habitats that we've built for the zoo, just because most of the habitats for the bisons, both the European and the American that I saw in different zoos, are always really plain. There is basically nothing, just bare ground, some logs, maybe some trees, but they're always surrounded by the tree guards and some rocks, and that's basically it. And this is something that I also wanted to recreate. Those are large animals that eat a lot, and I can assume that they eat all of the plants in their habitats. I will still add some plants here and there, but I really wanted to make this habitat really spacious. I didn't want to, you know, add so many details that it will be hard for the animals to move around it. So this time there will be quite a lot of open space. I wanted to play here with elevation, so the front part of the habitat is lower, so that the guests, when they stand on the path, they are just like above animals. This creates like this moat or just a concrete wall that I added that prevents the animals from escaping. And the back of the habitat is actually even higher than the guest path, so the guests get this really amazing vista, this amazing view inside of this habitat without looking on the animals through any fences, any metal bars or anything. I always love those kinds of habitats. When it comes to this wall that I told you about, this is very inspired by the Warsaw Zoo. They also had this like concrete wall with the overhang in the Wisent habitat, so I really like this detail, and I wanted to recreate something like this in here. I'd never done it in Planet Zoo, like I did overhangs but more on the mesh fences, not concrete walls, so it was quite interesting, but this required me to add a lot of mulch pieces around the habitat to hide all the holes in there, and also surround the whole habitat with a lot of different plants. That was certainly a lot of work. In front of the habitat, I also did like a little plaza for the guests. I did like a custom fence, very inspired again by Warsaw Zoo. I also did like those little, I don't know, viewing galleries that you can step in to have a better view for the Wisents. This is also very inspired by that zoo. And I also added the benches for the guests to sit, also inspired by that zoo. And this is kind of interesting because they have the benches not facing the habitat, so that if you want to go in and see it more up close, you have to go like behind the bench. It is sort of nice because you have this whole space to yourself. Not too many people can squeeze in there, so I actually really enjoyed it, and I wanted to recreate something like this as well in here. When it also comes to this little plaza in the front of the habitat, I really wanted to have something like this in here because this will be the other another entrance to the reptile house, so I wanted to make it look nice. I unfortunately forgot to record when I was decorating the plaza. I did like 2 bigger planters with some statues. The statues are unfortunately of the American bison, because we don't have the statues for the European bison, but if you won't pay too close attention to this, you won't notice that this is the American one. I would love to have more statues like this in Planet Zoo. I just love to use them, especially they are so common in like city zoos, so they are just perfect for the aesthetic of this entire zoo. So if I can use a very similar one, why not use it in here? I am just telling you this because I know that I'll have some comments, people telling me that I used the wrong statue, so I just want to clarify that. Before we'll move on to the rest of the video, we actually have a new sponsor in the Elm Hill City Zoo. So big thanks to Marco, who decided to sponsor the Addax habitat. Thank you so much, Marco. And here is your plaque in front of the habitat. I hope you like it. And if someone of you would also like to become a sponsor of the habitat in the Elm Hill City Zoo, all you need to do is become a member of the channel with the join button down below. After you will become a member, just let me know down in the comments under any of my videos what habitat in the Elm Hill City Zoo you would like to sponsor. I just wanted to repeat and clarify one more thing. If you will stop being a member, I will remove the plaque from the habitat, just as it works in the real life zoos. When someone is not sponsor anymore, they are just removing the plaque and replacing it with a new sponsor, so this is how we will do it in here as well. Okay, before we'll start to talk about the Barnyard Animal Pack, I have some really exciting news, at least for me. I am so beyond excited for this, that I booked my flights to New York City for September, and that I'll be going to the Bronx Zoo. I've been to New York before, but I've never been to the zoo, and it was my dream for a very long time, so I am very excited about this. This zoo looks just amazing. It is one of the best zoos in the world. I already saw San Diego Zoo, so now it is time to see the Bronx Zoo, and in the future maybe a Singapore or anything. But so yeah, I am very excited to see the Bronx Zoo finally. And if you guys are from there or have any recommendations for my visits, definitely drop them down in the comment section. I would love to get some recommendations. Maybe there are some other zoos or animal facilities that are worth to see next to New York. I can always rent a car. I am going there for, I think, 9 days, so I will have plenty of time to explore. Okay, as you guys can see, I already basically finished the front of the habitat, all the guest sections, paths, and everything like this, and I moved on to the inside of the habitat to make it look nice and ready for our Wisent. So we'll be adding a lot of those mud buffs for them. They love to wallow in the mud. We'll also add a small water section for them to drink from, and some rocks, not too many, for them to have a lot of space in the habitat, and also some trees, mostly pine trees. I really love the look of the pine trees in here. I think that thanks to them, the whole habitat looks just so much better. We'll also add, of course, enrichment items. We will add a lot of decals on the floor of the habitat to bring those textures and a lot of like the mud and sand and stuff like this. I really wanted to play with texture in this habitat because we won't have too many plants, and I wanted to make this the main focus of the habitat. Those habitats for the bisons are often very plain but very muddy and very sandy, so this is what I was going for. Okay, let's now talk about the Barnyard Animal Pack. Just as I said at the beginning of the video, this pack really divided the community, and I am actually quite excited to see that. I love all the conversations. I am actually recording this voiceover on the day that the pack was officially announced. I of course knew about it like 2 days before or something, because Frontier sent me the trailer, and I was really curious and really waiting for all the reactions from you guys, because I was really curious about them. I assume that a lot of you will be happy, because I always saw so many comments when the new DLC for Planet Zoo was released, like Eurasia or Tropical or anything, of people like complaining a bit and, you know, requesting or saying that it would be so cool to have like a petting zoo pack, to get like chickens, to get goats, emotes and stuff like that and also to make the guests more like interact with animals. And this is basically what we got in here in this new pack. So I assume that a lot of people will be happy. And indeed, I think that a lot of community was happy. I saw so many amazing reactions. People who are enjoying a pack are really vocal about this, like the comments are amazing. But of course, there won't ever be a pack that will satisfy us all. There's so many people saying that they won't be buying the pack because they are really disappointed, that those animals don't belong to the zoo game and stuff like that, that this is the most boring DLC ever, that those are only rare skins of the animals that we have. And I also sort of get that. If you were expecting more like tropical and exotic birds, I know why you're disappointed. So I must say that I personally really love the pack. I also wanted to have petting zoos in Planet Zoo because this is something that I saw in so many zoos that I visited. There's always this petting zoo section, and to make my zoo a bit more realistic, I really also wanted to add something like this. And I am very excited that I will be able to do it. Of course, maybe the roster of the animals isn't perfect. I would love to see, for example, rabbits that will bring something new to the game. I would also love to see ducks that were not included. Maybe instead of the alpine goat, they should bring in the pygmy goat that is from Africa, so we'll have more variation in terms of continents. There's a lot of animals from England and from United States. Maybe they also could include a different species of pig, because the one that we got is not the most interesting species there is. But overall, I am really happy. I'm also happy that there are scenery pieces in the pack. We get 7 animals and the scenery pieces. It has never been done before to get so many animals and also the pieces to build. I also saw some concern of people not being too happy with this being the last pack for Planet Zoo, but they didn't even tell that this is the last pack. I think that there will be more, to be honest. Of course, nothing has been confirmed yet, but they didn't say like big goodbyes or anything. I am still recording this video on the day that the pack was officially announced, but there wasn't anything said that this is actually the last pack. To sum things up, I am really happy about the pack. I know why some people are not. I'll just say to those people, I totally get you. Please just let other people be happy, because I also saw like a profound excitement in the community about this pack. Like many people are so happy about this. So I am very happy for those people. I am also very happy about me, because I'm also one of those. So you'll definitely see a petting zoo in the Elm Hill City Zoo quite soon. I think that from all the DLCs by far, this particular release date is the worst one for me yet there ever been. Like, oh my god. I always been so lucky because I didn't have any plans like before the pack was released, so I could prepare everything. And this time I have unfortunately am going away, so when the pack will be dropping, I'll be out of home. I have a business trip that I have to attend to, and I combined it with my birthday trip, so I'll be gone for a couple of days. But I will still do my best to cover the DLC when it will be out. But yeah, I'm super not lucky this time, but before I was always lucky. I don't know how I did it, but I was always there for the release at my home, even though I travel a lot. But this time I am completely out of the schedule. Now that the pack is also announced, please tell me down below what animal you are mostly excited for, because it will tell me which animal I should build for first, because I of course want to add the animals that you guys would like to see in the zoo, so definitely let me know which one you would like to see in the Elm Hill City Zoo. Okay, but let's go back to the video. You guys could also see me build the tree guards for the trees inside of this habitat. They were also inspired by Warsaw Zoo. They have those tree guards made of the big logs for the animals not to be able to just simply, you know, destroy them and get to the trees. They could easily destroy them with their horns and stuff. So to prevent that, I just basically added those guards. I also added a lot of locks inside of the habitat. I think that device bisons are simply grazing on them or just, you know, chilling next to them. This is something that they won't be able to like simply destroy this easily. And I added a lot of the buffalo grass, but I sunk it down into the ground so you can only see like the tips of the grass. I didn't want to make it look too grassy, but I still wanted to have for some pop of green color here and there, and to make this habitat look a bit more interesting, not just bare ground and that's it. I also added a lot of decals on the walls that surround the habitat because I can sort of see those animals like going into the mud, like being really dirty and then rubbing themselves on the walls so they make the walls dirty. In a second you will also see me build a custom feeder for the bisons. This is also a feeder inspired by the Warsaw Zoo exhibit. I really love this detail, and I am also really happy about the actual hay that I was able to add in there. It looks so amazing. This feeder is definitely one of my favorite details of this habitat. I also wanted to share one more thing I almost forgot. So because of the new pack, because of my trip and my very tight schedule, I unfortunately didn't have time to finish the interior of the shelter for the Wisent, so it is very empty, there's nothing inside. I will definitely do it in the future. Maybe I will show you in some of the cinematics in one of the future videos, or I will just show you during the trip that I am planning soon. I hate to release like unfinished builds, but I just had so many of the things done for this habitat, and the pack was announced and so on, and I really wanted to release this video before it will be actually out, because after that it will be all about the barnyard animal pack. So I wanted to give some spotlight to our Wisents before, and I really hope you guys don't mind this. I also wanted to talk with you guys a bit more about the European bisons. As I told you, those are the largest animals in Europe. They weigh around 1,000 kilograms. They are sort of a pride of my country, of Poland. I think that we have the most bisons actually in our country out of all the European countries. There's a lot of like dense and very old forests that they like to live in, like compared to the American bison that lives mainly on prairies or on open like fields and so on. The European bison, it lives in dense forests and it likes to hide. They are really shy, it is very hard to see one in the wild, and they also don't live in such a big groups as the American bisons do. I'm still not sure if you actually pronounce it Wisent or Wisent, but I think that Wisent comes from German and the official English pronunciation is Wisent, but correct me if I am wrong. But in my country, in my language, in Polish, we call them żubr, and you may recognize it from alcoholic spirits, żubrówka. It is a very famous alcohol around the world, named after a type of grass that is called żubrówka, which is of course called after the European bison, the żubr. We also have a famous beer that is called żubr with the bison on its label. I cannot believe that I am talking about alcoholic drinks here on my channel on Planet Zoo video, but remember, if you are not an adult, don't try those. The things for the European bisons look really good. They are not longer, of course, extinct in the wild. They are nearly threatened. The numbers are growing, they are breeding, they are spreading their range. So it is very lovely to see that. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit surprised when I learned that they will be added to Planet Zoo, because I thought that they won't be adding them ever, because we had the American bison, which is way more famous than the European one. That's why I didn't even include it in any of my wish lists or anything like that. But of course, as Polish person, my whole heart is with bisons. We love them here, so I am very excited that they were added to the game and that I was finally able to build a habitat for them in the Elm Hill City Zoo. In the next episodes of the Elm Hill City Zoo, we will start building our petting zoo, but we will also go back to the reptile house and add another crocodilian to the house, and the whole floor in the house will be basically finished. Then we'll have a much smaller second floor to finish, and then the entire house will be done. I of course will have to add some details inside and to do the entire facade in the back for the building, but it is still not too far from being finished. Okay, so the cinematic shots will begin shortly, so join me as I will show you the finished habitat from all the angles. I just love building the habitats for the ungulates, you guys probably know it by now. Every time I build for them, I enjoy it so much. And this habitat is no exception. I just love how it has turned out. The Wisents have everything they need in here. I think that they are really enjoying the habitat. And I am so thrilled that they are finally here in the Elm Hill City Zoo because I wanted to add them since the release of the Eurasia Animal Pack. This habitat is maybe slightly less detailed than the ones that I've built previously, but this gives those large animals so much more space to roam around it. I love that you can actually see this animal from the street without going inside of the zoo, so people who are walking here, who are just passing, can still see those majestic animals. One of my favorite details about this habitat is the feeder. I just love how it looks, and I wish that we had functional feeders like this in Planet Zoo. That would be so amazing. I cannot wait for the release of the Barnyard Animal Pack. I hope you guys are equally excited. We will see each other next time in a video that will be dedicated to the new pack, so I just cannot wait for that. Okay, it's time to say goodbye. I will leave you to some more cinematics. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video and you like the habitat. If you did enjoy it and if you like the habitat, please consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a big thumbs up down below if you enjoyed it. Also, ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And of course, leave me a comment, tell me what you think about the new habitat. If you like to support the channel a little bit extra and become a sponsor of one of the habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo, click the join button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!